So marriage is such an important decision on who to marry and who to spend your life with that I think it should be done very cautiously and think it over carefully before you make a decision like that. I've been married for 30 years, almost 30 years, and it's the decision that I made was a good decision. I hope my wife would say the same thing. But yeah, so I want to share just a few suggestions, tips on what to do before you get married as young men. Number one, take your time. It is one of the biggest decisions you'll make in your life. This person you plan on spending the rest of your life with can either make your life very, very difficult or more fulfilling. You need time to challenge this person and investigate this person, and you need time to improve yourself too. You shouldn't expect to marry someone at the gold standard if you are a pile of garbage. You need to be improving yourself, improving your skills, improving your situation every day so you have more to offer this person. I know someone that's very close to me that from the time that they met their spouse to the time they got married was 7 weeks. So not even 2 months from the time they met this person to the time they were married. Do you think that's a good idea? I've asked her, and I know she would say, no, that's not a good idea. So can it work sometimes? Get married quickly? I think it can, but I think it's an exception to the rule rather than the rule itself. But how did it turn out for this person? Well, it didn't turn out well. She was divorced within about 2 years after getting married. And thank goodness she didn't have any children with this guy, and she was able to make a clean break. But yeah, he was abusive mentally, verbally, and other ways. Even unfortunately, her sister-in-law, after they'd been married about 6 or 7 months, came up to her and said, "I should have warned you." It's like, no, you should have warned me 9 months ago, 10 months ago, before we were married, what your brother was like. But yeah, I mean, some of the stuff that he would do is just crazy. He had some condition. I'm not a psychologist. I don't know. I don't want to label people, but yeah, I mean, he would force her to work out regardless if she was sick or not. Um, it's never a good idea to force people to do anything. When they'd have disagreements, he'd come home and beat up the whole apartment, destroying furniture, putting holes in walls, or he'd start cleaning his guns in front of her. I mean, the guy was not good. She was never good enough. Her hair was too long, her hair was too short. She laughed too loud, she ate too much, she wasn't in good shape, she was too flabby, needed to work out more. And here's even a weird one. He would not allow her to enter a room first. He had to be the first one into a room. But I don't know. And they're just crazy, you know. But yeah, you need time. Uh, you need time to pick up on these red flags. And if she had spent more time dating, would she have noticed? Uh, Probably. Don't let anyone rush you into a decision to be married, especially a decision as important as who to marry. I got married about after a year of dating my wife, and it's been a good decision. Number two, date more than just a few people. I have a son that dated just one young lady through high school, and he would say that. And I think she's an amazing young woman, and I would be very blessed to call her a daughter-in-law. She is, from all I can see, she's an amazing woman. But he says at this point, how do I know I've found the right person if I've only dated one person? You have to spend time prospecting. You have to spend time looking for that right person. And it's not going to be a person that's an exact match to how you are. You don't want a twin or a clone of yourself. You want somebody that's complementary or helps you in your purposes. Number 3, keep the physical part of your relationship in control. And that means no sex before marriage. And you say, well, why not? Everybody else is. It brings so much emotion into the picture. It's almost impossible to make a rational decision if you've bonded spiritually and physically, become one with one person through that act. It cloudies the water. It makes it almost impossible to make the right decision. You know, even in scripture, we see the way God views sex is that when a man and a woman, a virgin woman, have sex, they're essentially married in God's eyes. You've had relations with a woman, you just bonded with her. Basically, in God's eyes, you've agreed to take them on as a lifelong partner, someone to support, and it doesn't matter in his eyes if you have a piece of paper or not. In his eyes, you've taken on that person. They're your partner. You know, you can't go into a bakery and grab a cake off the shelf, take a big bite out of it, and then put it back on the shelf. You've bought it. It's yours. You take it home. You spend the rest of your life enjoying that cake. Well, you'd have to eat it really slow, but you know what I'm saying. Having sex or even a lot of physical intimacy clouds up the waters of making good, rational decisions. You know, have you ever spent time scuba diving? I'm personally not certified. I've spent time doing very basic things in a pool with all the gear on, and it's great. And I'd love to do more of it, but I have enough hobbies already. But one of the very interesting parts of scuba diving is people go into these caves, underwater caves. And one of the big hazards scuba divers have is, you know, if they kick up the silt from the bottom of that cave, it creates a condition where they call it silt up. Your visibility is like basically zero. You cloud up that water. You can't tell which way is up or down, left or right. You can't tell, you have no visibility. You have no clarity. You know, years ago, my wife and I went on a vacation to a tropical island, and as a souvenir, I picked up just a water bottle, and in about half of it, I put sand, and then the rest of it, I put ocean water. And you could bring that, I brought that home and I'd shake it up, and that water would be totally saturated with the sand, and you couldn't see through it. It's very opaque. You couldn't see through it. You couldn't see anything through that bottle. But within a few minutes, it would settle. That sand's much heavier than silt. But within a few, maybe like 30 seconds, it would settle back down to the bottom. The water was just as clear as like nothing happened. Unfortunately, silt's much lighter, much finer than sand. It takes a lot longer. But there's a lot of mental with scuba diving. Actually, a psychologist by the name of Laura Walton talked about some of the mental toughness you have to have as a scuba diver, and talks about this silt up problem. And she says, one common stressor is the loss of visibility due to silt being stirred up in the water. If the diver becomes distracted or distressed by this, the changes in breathing may cause them to make movements that agitate the silt even further, increasing psychological arousal, could cause poor awareness and faulty decision making, leading to errors and increasing the problem. It's one thing to be unable to see through the silt, but the situation becomes a lot worse if the diver's awareness becomes foggy too. So there's a direct correlation, you know, between getting involved with intimacy and clouding up the waters in this scuba diver in the water. You know, it leads to poor awareness. You could have a red flag right in front of your face, like this lady I was talking about, right in front of your face. And if you're involved on that level of intimacy, you're not going to see it. It leads to faulty decision-making. It leads to making errors in judgment, becoming foggy. Your mind is not clear. It's clouded up with all this emotion and this bond you've made with somebody. I don't know what to do, or I'm going to do what my body tells me to do, which is usually not correct. So what do divers do in this situation? How do they handle it? Well, number one, hopefully they've got a line, a rescue line that takes them from deep inside the cave to the entrance of the cave. If that line's not there, hopefully they've got a buddy to help. Buddy's not there. Hopefully they've got some good cave circulation to clear out that silt. If that's not there, they have to wait. Wait for that silt to settle back out of the water and go back to the bottom of the cave. And hopefully you've got enough air to wait. So what should you do before you make a final decision in who to marry? Withdraw yourself from most of the physical contact for a while. Let things settle down. What's the hurry? Go a couple of weeks, go a month with just basic contact, holding hands, sitting next to a person, and thinking about what's life going to be like with this person during that month, during the 2 weeks. Pray and think, ask for guidance. Think, is this the person I want to have kids with? Is this person handle stress well? Does this person have the same long-term goals as I have? Do I like this person? Hopefully that is, yeah. Would this person put our kids' needs above herself? How does this person's family treat each other? How does this person's father treat their mother, or mother treat father? The environment she was raised in most cases, will be how she is. Do you like your mother-in-law? I hope so, because that's how your wife's probably going to be. Does this person help you become a better person? Does she take on your purpose, dreams, and desires, or will she do that? So, number one, take your time dating. Take your time with your decision. Don't be a 7-week person. Date more than one person. And especially, do not cloudy the waters with intimacy. Have a cooling off period before making a decision like that. The decision is so important that taking a little bit of extra time is a great idea.